Try that out. I know there's a lot of people, like, I've really gotten a lot of positive feedback about Enshrouded whenever I've talked about it in the past, and so, yeah, I might try it. The beta for Enshrouded was nice. Yeah, I watched just a little bit of Quinn play it. Not a whole lot. Did you see Riot fired 500 plus people? I did see that. Sorry, I was reading something. I was thinking about something else. So there have been a lot of people. I'll read a few of these comments that are talking about the Riot layoffs. Let me make sure that I get all these up. And, what do you call it here? Yeah, okay. So there were a lot of people that were really unhappy about what happened with Riot, because obviously Riot let a lot of people go yesterday. And by let them go, I mean, obviously this is a euphemism. Riot fired them. Riot made their jobs no longer exist. So what happened was that, you know, obviously Riot, as with every other tech company, is experiencing the same type of, like, tech contraction that Meta is, Facebook is Meta. Like Twitch, I think Amazon fired people as well. And yeah, they did. And AGS, I think, even fired people, Amazon Game Studio. So a lot of people they got rid of. And Necrit made a video to recap it. Yeah, no, I saw that. I might watch that tomorrow or something. I don't really know. It depends. So they overhired during COVID. And so these people aren't saying talented, have a ton of value to his products. The reason why Riot makes a lot of the money. At least respect them enough by not having them learn via Twitter that they got laid off. So I want to actually address some of these points that people are making on Twitter and talk about this just for a couple of minutes, because I think that these people are, like, totally wrong. And so I wanted to add in some insight, because people might not really realize, and I don't think that they're stupid. They're not really stupid. They're just wrong because they don't know something. Like, I felt the same way before I knew this. The reason why a lot of these companies don't tell employees is because the employees will then tell their friends, and they can get charged for insider trading. That's why I heard that Blizzard didn't tell people. And I think there was another company, it might have been Meta, that did the same thing. Because usually announcing layoffs leads to a stock price reduction. And because of that, people would want to know ahead of time so they could hedge their bets. So that's the, and also theft. Well, yes, but I think that it's more realistically the insider trading thing. And so that's the reason why people don't know ahead of time. It's one reason, right? And you also have, there's another reason for this too.
I'm sure you've heard some of the rumors circulating around the hallways about how we're going to be doing a house cleaning with some of the software people.
Well, Bob, I have heard that, and you got to do what you got to do.
We're going to be getting rid of these people here. First, Mr. Samir Naga. Not going to work here anymore anyway. And Mr. Mike Bolton, who's going to miss him.
You're going to lay off Samir and Michael.
Oh, yeah, we're going to bring in some entry-level graduates, farm some work out to Singapore, as usual deal.
On standard operating procedure. Do they know this yet?
No, of course
Here it comes.
not. We find it's always better to fire people on a Friday. Studies have statistically shown that there's less chance of an incident if you do it at the end of the week. Anyway, Peter, what we'd like to do...
So, yeah. This is so common that it was a fucking meme in the 2000s, okay? Like, I remember, dude, this movie is so fucking good. This is the greatest movie of all time. Give me a second, one sec. Hello? Hey, what's up? I'm on my stream. Yeah, I know. I've told them that. Yep, I did. Yeah. Just a second.
This thing was filmed in Austin.
Yeah. No, my dad's reminiscing. He's watching his stream. He's reminiscing because this literally used to be my dad and my dad's friend, and my dad used to kind of look like this guy, and my dad's friend used to kind of look like this guy, and they literally had this job. And you loved it, right?
Oh man, I ate that shit up with a spoon, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and like, yeah, I remember I liked Jim a lot. Jim was great. Such a nice guy.
Yeah, but we had him over to eat supper for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. I know when I was
Yeah.
in Florida, I knew him from Florida, you know?
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
out there. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great show. You know, the show was they made this in Austin.
Yeah, it was a Mike Judge film, I know. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Me and
Yeah,
Zach used to
yeah.
watch this like every night.
Oh, yeah, well, how many times have you and I watched it?
Enough.
Yeah, well, not enough.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
enough.
I'm gonna get back to it, but I'll call you later, okay?
Yeah, I just didn't want to miss that point.
Yeah.
You gotta say something about it.
Yeah. All right, yo.
Yo,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Yeah, my dad literally had this exact job. He had this exact fucking job. And so, yeah. And, what's the movie called? It's called Office Space. Anyway, so, yeah, it's a fucking meme, right? That's how popular it is. And, anyway, these guys, that's why they get fired, right? That's why they find out via tweet. 100%. It also affects shareholders as a result of a sell-off and subsequent repurchase of the stock at a new lower rate, buying the dip, so to speak. That's why the silent layoff RTO is being so appealing to companies. Yeah, and like this guy, like, and this is really what sucks, right? Is because like the reason why this is happening is because there are bad actors that will behave in ways that are unethical. And what that does is it forces the companies to do something that is also kind of shitty. Like, are we going to say it's unethical to not tell people the day you're going to fire them? I don't know. Is it unethical to quit a job and not put in a 2 weeks notice? Depends on how you look at it. But the point is that I think that it sucks, right? It does really suck that this happens, but this dude is 100% right. And so, yeah, it's like the after effects that kind of stuff has. And so that's really the reason. They fired the designer, made the newest champion, which comes out next week. Yeah, but who knows why that happened? I mean, I don't know about that. That's why you don't need to do 2 weeks notice. If I was working at a job and I enjoyed the job and I respected the people that I worked with, I would want to do my best to give a 2 weeks notice. If I worked at theoretically Sam's Club, well, I'd just stop showing up. Yeah, I just randomly stopped showing up. And that was it, right? Yeah, fuck them, right? And so I think that how many of you guys feel the same way? It's like you work at a job, you like the job, they treat you right. You want to meet them halfway. I feel like that's the way a lot of normal people are, right? Yeah, for sure. Like, that's good. That's a good thing. But like, if you've got a job that treats you like a piece of shit, then the job should expect that you will treat them like a piece of shit as well, right? And so, yeah, I get it. And anyway, another person said this, if the reason for layoffs is due to overspending and overcommitment, then the people responsible for the overspending and overcommitment should be let go instead, but they aren't. Why? So this is another tweet that I think is like kind of, in my opinion, I think it's business illiterate. And the reason why is because what overcommitment and overspending is changes all the time. Like, for example, if you're hiring a lot of people because there's a certain product that's massively in favor, you whenever you hire a person, you're not making a blood pact for life. You're hiring this person for a period of time until you don't need them anymore. That's just the way things go. So, like, if you're selling 1,000 units a year, let's say, you're going to hire people to sell 1,000 units. And then if the market changes and now you're selling 500, well, it's not really your fault that the market changes in a lot of cases. Like for Riot, it's not Riot's fault that the COVID vaccine and just COVID in general, I apologize for even using the word because now I'm going to get in an argument with people in chat about whether the vaccine worked or not. But COVID is not, there are no longer the COVID regulations. Like, that's the truth, right? Is like people aren't indoors all day. People don't have to wear masks. People aren't social distancing. And fundamentally, people are not involving, they're not changing their lives because of COVID. Like, this isn't something that Riot did. So, like, should somebody at Riot be fired for hiring more people during there was a time that more people were using the product? Like, that sounds like this, like, do you see what I'm saying, right? That's, like, crazy to me. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, and I get why a person feels this way, because, like, they see this happen, and, like, to them, like, it's their friends that are getting fired. But, like, I wish people like this would really start to, like, they would try to think about why something happens rather than how they feel about it. Because I think that's a better way to look at things. Sad thing is we found out masks don't work. Yeah, I don't want to argue with you about that. I literally don't care. Like, please, I do not give a shit. If you don't want to use a mask, don't use a mask, okay? Like, just, okay. We're done. Rationally? Yeah, exactly. Firms still have due diligence. Oh, yeah, you're right. And there is irresponsible overhiring. You're right about that. It definitely happens. But if you want to look at it logically, I think that really there's a little bit in the middle, right? Both aren't mutually exclusive. They can understand why, but it feels shitty about it. Yeah, but, like, you're talking about having other people get fired instead, right? When, like, that's not really what the thing is. Let's be honest. Riot is morally bankrupt. Why is Riot morally bankrupt? Why is that? And I'll actually, I'll give you a little point, because, like, you probably don't really know what you're talking about. You're just, like, talking. But, like, actually, there's a really good point that Jason Schreier brought up on Twitter today. I read this earlier, and he said that Riot's severance package for laid-off employees is one of the best I've ever seen. This is true. Very true. But here's the exception here. But Riot also had a strict return-to-office policy, and we talked about this a lot, because, like, I compared Blizzard's return-to-office policy with Riot's, for example, which means that 500-plus people may have now had to move, basically, what he's saying, uproot their lives, like, you know, just very, very simply, move to California to work at Riot, and now they've lost their job, and they're stuck in California. And not only are they stuck in California, they're stuck in LA. And so, like, again, guys, like, we talked about Hassan's $3 million house. Guys, it's not a fucking mansion, okay? Like, a $3 million house in LA is it's a very nice house, but it's not what you think. It's not what you'd imagine. Like, the LA housing market is fucking disgusting. It's worse than Austin. And I know why. It's because living in LA is great. Like, in my opinion, I think LA is great, okay? The weather is better. The only thing is that everything is, like, fucking 40% more expensive. It's like they forgot to do a number squish at the end of the expansion. And so, yeah, that's the only thing. LA's GTA IRL? Well, I don't know. I feel like, you know, I go from Austin to LA, and I never really left. I feel like there's a lot of things that are basically the same. There's more palm trees over there. I'd say that's one difference. And so, yeah. Overhiring and potential reductions are legitimate business strategies? Well, yeah, of course they are, right? And so, yeah, this really sucks for those people. And, like, the fact that Riot kind of had people return to office whenever they knew that those people, like, I think you bring up a good point, that, like, if Riot is having people come back to office whenever those people are, you know, their jobs are not really secure. Because, like, here's the reality, is that I bet people at Riot knew this was a problem a year ago. It's not like something like this happens overnight. Like, oh, yeah, by the way, I just looked at the new report, and it looks like we have to fire 500 people, right? So, like, it really sucks if, like, you're trying to push a return-to-office policy, but at the same time trying to also give people, you know, like, you're bringing people in that you know that you're not going to keep them. Yeah, I think that really sucks. Companies plan a few quarters ahead? Yeah, exactly. Who would move different city to return from office? A lot of people would. Like, let's say you have a software development job at Riot, and you are making $220,000 a year, and you have great benefits, and you're working at a company that you grew up loving, right? You're like, let's say 27, and you just got this great job. You would absolutely move. 100%. Not you, but, like, a lot of people would absolutely move 100%. Yeah, definitely. 300K plus? Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? and 220K is minimum wage. I guess I'm used to reading salaries from Blizzard. Okay, so you know, maybe that is the case now. But the point is that, like, there's a lot of people, and, like, you know, from their perspective, right? You look at, you know, your 27-year-old guy, you know, you're getting to move to California, you're going to live in LA, you're going to make a huge amount of money, and you're going to work at this, like, massively super popular company that, like, everybody knows about. Like, of course people are going to do that. It makes sense. People move for, like, anything. Yeah, 35K is minimum wage. I think he's just comparing it to, like, other jobs in that sector. I mean, I'm not... Did anybody really, like, did you really think that he thought that like, that's worse than Aiden Ross. Even Aiden Ross thought minimum wage was 100K, right? Like, you realize this is, like, literally twice as bad as Aiden Ross? No, that's clearly not what he thought. And so, yeah, some people do some crazy shit. Exactly, the sector and the area of work. Yeah, I'm living in LA, right? So it makes sense. So, yeah, why not make limited time contracts? That's the funny thing, is that always has been. It is a limited time contract. Yep, there you go. Isn't that crazy? You haven't brought up any factors that these employees